This is our 7th video in our series, How You Can Learn Any Language. Today we're going to talk about the opportunities that you should jump on to be able to use or practice the language that you're learning or simply maintaining. Hi, my name is Rachele DeMeo from Belle Terre Academy. Seizing these opportunities, taking advantage of any opportunity that comes your way is going to help you really learn a language. And you might say, well, it's tough to be able to do that when I'm just starting to learn. But you can still do that even if you're just starting to learn a language. I know sometimes personality does come strongly into play when you're learning anything, and especially when you're learning a language. It definitely comes into play. However, whether you're shy or whether you're an extrovert, first of all, what I recommend is mentally prepare yourself to be able to seize these opportunities. Think or practice scenarios and possibly dialogues that you can kind of have on hand, so to speak, to be able to practice the language. So any opportunity that comes around you, you already feel like you're prepared. If that's the type of personality that you have and you need that preparation, or you might just want to jump right on it. Regardless, it doesn't really matter what your personality is. Find a way so that you feel comfortable so when the opportunity comes, you can use the language. Now I'm going to give you some examples and different things that you can do to be able to practice or use any language that you're learning. So first example that comes to me is at restaurants. So for instance, you're learning Italian and you're at an Italian restaurant. This is a great opportunity for you to practice language. And you're probably going to tell me, Rachele, I've been to Italian restaurants and nobody speaks Italian, and I get it, and I know that's true, and trust me, it pisses me off. However, what I did, and this is just an example that happened a few weeks back, I was visiting a little Italy in San Diego, and there was an authentic restaurant that's Italian, actually had pretty authentic food, I'm not gonna lie. And the waiter came, he was not Italian. So what did I do? Because I know that, especially in America, there are not many restaurants that have natives that speak the language, and sometimes they don't even cook, and they're not even from there. But anyway, I'm not gonna get started. So the waiter came, speaking to me in English, didn't speak Italian. So I said, does anybody here in the restaurant, are they Italian, from Italy? And he said, yeah, hold on. He gets his manager. His manager's like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. I'm not complaining. I said, I just want some recommendations that you would recommend of, on the menu and food items and stuff and beverages. I'm not gonna lie, I already knew what I was gonna order. I already knew exactly the gnocchi that I like and that red wine that was gonna pair up well with it. I already had that in mind. I wasn't really asking him to ask him. I was asking him just to have that opportunity to practice. And once we talked about the food and the beverages and so forth, we jumped into an entire conversation of where he was from, how long he'd lived here for, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that opportunity didn't come to me. I had to go looking for it. So sometimes that opportunity, you want to have it and you're like, well, I guess they don't speak Italian. It's okay. Maybe you need to ask for it. Ask somebody to give you another resource, so to speak. And I was so glad I did that. I felt proud because I had to work on some listening comprehension by listening to him, but then I also was able to use it and practice it. So you want to seize that type of opportunity. Obviously, you're in a restaurant and you can order in the language. Our entire conversation was in Italian, so it's not like you just meet a person that speaks Italian, for instance, and then you speak in English. That kind of defeats the purpose. You're looking to use the language, right? But don't think of it simply in terms of restaurants. So regardless of where you live and how populated or not the places, you probably hear tourists that come to visit around you, or maybe they're not tourists, maybe they live there. They're speaking that language or languages that you are learning or maintaining. So again, you're gonna seize the opportunity to be able to use and that language when you hear people around you that speak that language. So here are 3 points that are gonna help you do that. First thing, so let's say you hear somebody that speaks Japanese, you're learning Japanese. First, look at them. Eye contact. That's number 1. Because you're like, why are you looking at me? You know what I mean? And regardless of whatever intentions they think you have or don't have, look at them, smile. Smile is kind of a universal language that is greeting and that's warm. So smile, eye contact, smile, and then if you can, say hi in Japanese, obviously. So I don't speak Japanese. The only word I think I know is arigato, thank you, but I don't think that would matter if I was really just starting to learn Japanese and I simply said that. they might look at me like, thank you for what? But it doesn't matter. They heard me speak their language, and that's the thing that is such a blessing. So again, it's just having that contact of initiating that rapport with that person speaking that language, trying to practice what you do know, and then from there you can jump into a conversation of, well, do you live here? Where do you live? Oh, no, okay, you're just visiting. Oh, what kind of hobbies do you have? Talk about their family, dynamics or the stage in life in which they're in, and definitely, what do you enjoy doing? So, and what do you do for a living? You can ask a bunch of these types of questions. So you're trying to develop just a dialogue. Once you've established some kind of communication with that person, if it goes well and you have a good feeling about it, why not take their number? Now, you want to exchange phone numbers. What I recommend is make sure you get theirs so that you're accountable to contact them. They may never contact you. You may leave your number and they're like, cool, and they never call you. You know what I mean? So you want to be the one to take their number, and then the next day, a few days later, you're going to contact them. Hey, it was so nice to meet you. Again, you're doing all this in that language. You're not doing it in your native language. You're doing it in the language that you're learning. Even if you have to look up some words, it was so nice to meet you. I'd love to hang out again. How about we get coffee? When are you free? So you're initiating that relationship, because truly what you want to do is seize every opportunity to practice. But furthermore, should I add, you want to also very much be able to create and develop friendships so that it's not a one-time thing. It's more of something that you're able to have and practice with continually. I'm going to give you another example of that with one of my really good friends now, Daniela. I'm at a French bakery and I see this mom with 2 young kids struggling to open the door, and my heart went out to her. I had 2 kids that were close in age, and it was very challenging, I'm not gonna lie. So my heart went out to her, plus my husband's nudging me like, hey, you're always telling, people to like practice the language, kind of do what you preach. And to be honest, even if I'm an extreme extrovert, I'm a little shy sometimes when I don't know people. I can't really figure things out. I can be a little bit like, just kind of wait and see. But I'm like, hey, this is opportunity. I got to seize the opportunity. So I went, opened the door, she was struggling to open the door because obviously, she had 2 kids and it was a lot and her hands were full. And so she's like, oh, thank you. And I just started speaking Italian. Oh, ciao. And then immediately that conversation started. That conversation continued even past ordering a few pastries. And then we became friends. And now it's been 4 or 5 years. I consider her one of my closest friends, all because I took that initial step that I was reluctant to take. And now I'm like, man, I'm so glad I did that. Had I been reluctant or not done it at all, I would have never gone to develop an actual friendship with her. So whether it's a one-time, you're just kind of communicating here and there, and I'm going to give you another example of that, or whether it becomes later on a long-term friendship, just seize the opportunity, find the opportunity, be ready for it to come to you and for you to go looking for it. It can also be that you're going to different markets. There's a lot of outdoor markets, especially right now. So maybe you're going to a market and somebody's selling food from Ghana, and you're like, oh, this is great. And so you're able not only to practice the language, but I know that they also speak English, but it's not just about that. It's also what they're giving you, what they're showing you culture-wise by what they have displayed on their table, what they're selling. So you're able to get a lot of the culture. So a lot of these outdoor marketplaces, you're able to find people, authentic people that speak the language, and you just need to go and see where they're at. It could also be a festival. It's not necessarily a market. It could definitely be a festival or other events that are held, and we talked about events. But the thing is, like any opportunity that you can have and seek to have, you need to jump on to learn the language. Even if you know a few sentences and then you have to revert to English for, a little bit, just the little that you can do in the language, the little is going to boost up your ego. You're going to realize, wow, I could do that. And sometimes you just need to know that you can do it. And I know you can do it. So you just really need to jump on all these opportunities to be able to use and practice the language. Whether you're practicing is on some kind of social media and you're writing messages back and forth, you have a pen pal, we talked about that as well, where you're writing back and forth and you're using the language that way, or possibly it has nothing to do with that. Possibly it's not that you're social media, but you're actually just looking for these opportunities and you've developed friendships, you're developing friendships with people that speak the language, and then anything that you hear around you, like, whoops, what? Okay, I'm going to seize that opportunity. I'm going to seize this opportunity. Ah, I can use language here. And so anything that you can do. So like, for instance, you're at a museum and you have like headphones on and you're listening, you're doing the little tour thing, whatever you call it. You look at the audio options, whoa, it's in Spanish, you're learning Spanish, win-win situation. So you're putting that audio during your museum visit, not in your native language, which is the easy thing to do. You're putting it in that language that you're learning. So I highly recommend that you jump, but not jump on every opportunity. You're looking out there, you're actively looking for that so that you can use and practice the language that you're using and that you want to maintain for a lifetime. So the next few weeks, we have a few more points, and I can't wait to jump into next week's.